host a morning radio show, and it never gets easy for me to stand in front of people and talk. I'm a nervous wreck, so bear with me. Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it. I love all of the staff and doctors and nurses at Niswonger Children's Hospital. And this is my son, Drew Warwick. He is 9 years old. And this is my daughter, Waverly Warwick, and she is 6. It's funny because in the car right here, we're talking. My father-in-law is here to support me. And I said, Drew, who do you want to meet? And of course, Peyton Manning, obviously. And I said, Waverly, what about you? And she said, Scrubs the Bear. So it kind of gives you a perspective on children. My name is Taylor Morgan, like he said, and I'm from Houston, Texas. I moved to the Tri-Cities area while working on the air in Nashville, Tennessee, doing my own radio show. I came here to visit my mom, and I fell in love. I fell in love with my husband, and I fell in love with this community. This town is like no other town I've lived. I've lived in Houston, New York, Nashville, and I've been here 12 years, and I don't think I will ever leave. I have to tell you, many times in those past 12 years, especially last year, there's been chances for me to move back to Nashville, move back to Houston, but God keeps me here. And sometimes at night I lay awake and say, why? Why am I supposed to be in this small town? I'm a big city girl. And I think maybe it's to be the voice for many mothers who are living in the area where there is much need. Much need. Need for many things. You see, our area has a high premature birth rate, and I experienced that with both of my children. Our area has a higher than normal birth defect rate, and I experienced that through the birth of my beautiful daughter, Waverly. I feel strongly about trying to help other mothers and fathers who are within a building called Niswonger Children's Hospital. They get the best care they can possibly have, I'll tell you that, right here at home, not having to travel many hours and be away from the comfort of family and friends. When we first decided to have children, my husband and I would sit in my grandparents' backyard and talk for hours about having a family. You see, my husband was a baseball pitcher throughout his high school career and then went on to be a baseball pitcher in college. So his dream of having children was having them involved in sports. He would talk for hours about how he would coach Little League and probably everything every man dreams about with their son. Little did we know that our son would come so early and have so many little hurdles to overcome. But I will tell you, even though he was in the hospital a couple times, but from March until just last week, my husband coached Drew's Little League team, and they were the underdogs. Everybody laughed at him. But they were in a championship 2 Fridays ago, and they got in second place. Is that right? Second place. So, yeah. Drew is 9 years old, and he is little. He's littler than most. As a matter of fact, I have to tell you guys that when we're out, people ask me all the time, are they twins? Drew's 9 and she's 6. He just laughs. He says he wants to be a comedian on the Comedy Channel. And I have to get parental control over our television, apparently. Many things have occurred when Drew came early, but most importantly, Drew was transported to the NICU here in Johnson City, right before it became Niswonger Children's Hospital. We battled many issues while there, and without the NICU and the staff, Drew would have been taken to Vanderbilt, and/or Drew would have not lived. He instead was in his hometown getting the care he needed to save his life. Drew is now 9. He's going into 4th grade. Teachers have deemed him the nicest kid in school, being popular, well-liked, and he's had a girlfriend for a year named Quinn. He loves and obsesses over sports. Yeah, Quinn comes to his games and Mommy doesn't really like that. When I say that Drew obsesses over sports, I mean literally. I've even talked to the pediatrician about this. When Drew was 3 years old, a Houston radio station from my hometown called to have Drew as a guest on their show because of the golf videos I posted of Drew. He was everything Peyton Manning in his room. All the kid wanted this past Christmas was a Peyton Manning jersey. He said, Drew, isn't there anything else? That's all I want, Mama. So we got him 2. That's all he got. His dad told him today, hey, buddy, don't get your hopes up in meeting Peyton Manning. Well, Drew, what do you think now? You shook his hand, I saw it. Drew has severe asthma. Drew's lungs were attacked with a virus called RSV when he was 6 years old in the NICU, and we have issues from that virus we still battle today. He missed 67 days of 3rd grade last year, and each day was excused with a doctor's note or a hospital note. Pneumonia is a word I cringe at. In March of this year, I had to take a leave of absence from my job as a radio personality due to caring for not only Drew, who was in the hospital with pneumonia, but you see, I was also blessed with the most amazing, brave, strong little girl, and her name is Waverly Warwick. Waverly was born early, and I remember lying on the table and crying and begging God to make her okay. Well, guess what? She is okay. She's perfect. Everything I always wanted in a child. She has taught me more than any other person on this planet. After an hour of the doctors checking her out, the doctor came in and said, "Well, I'm not sure if you know what this is, but Waverly was born with a cleft palate. The top of her mouth is missing." I couldn't believe it. Here I was again with a child who would experience health issues, being different, not to mention the overwhelming medical cost it has taken on our family. Waverly has had 3 surgeries since she was born, and last summer we watched her fight as she had her last one. She couldn't eat, swallow, or drink, and the amount of weight that my 5-year-old lost developing pneumonia while in the hospital meant 16 days in the hospital instead of the scheduled 3. It was one of the most trying times as a parent and a mother and a wife. December of this year, both of my kids were in the hospital. Both had pneumonia in the same room. I sat there wondering, how on earth am I going to keep a job? How on earth am I going to do this? But through the grace of God, I have, and most days are wonderful. They're filled with Drew wanting to be a NASCAR driver, or Drew wanting to play golf, or Waverly wanting to be a singer, or Waverly wanting to dance. I am blessed beyond words. In January, Waverly woke up with a high fever. It had snowed that day, and as a person in media, we were saying, do not get on the roads, stay off the roads. Well, here I was with Waverly at home with 104 temperature, thinking, what on earth am I going to do? I was home alone with the kids, so we loaded up in the car and drove to Niswonger Children's Hospital. I have to tell you that I probably am one of those helicopter moms. I try not to be, but I am. And I can remember driving in the snow, scared to death, Drew holding Waverly in the back seat as she was sick, and me thinking, we can get there, we can get there. When we walked into Niswonger Children's Hospital, they met me at the door because I guess no one was out at that time, and they took Waverly. The care that we received at Niswonger Children's Hospital is why this hospital is so important. They took over. They made sure Waverly was taken care of and she had pneumonia. Waverly's missed 57 days of kindergarten due to her cleft palate. Her sinuses are open, ear infections, sinus infections, and pneumonia are her battle in life. And as a working mom, I struggle to be there for my children on most days they're well, much less on the days they're sick and in the hospital where I need 24/7. I stink at managing it all. Seriously, I do. I cannot imagine the moms at Niswonger Children's Hospital who are here with children with cancer, or who are here with children with life-threatening illnesses that cause them so much more struggles than I have endured or my own family. I want to end by saying, I want to say as a woman who loves God, who loves my family and my children more than anything, I appreciate you all being here. All of these high-profile human beings that you guys have taken time from your lives to be here today to make a difference. You know, I know we all have struggles. You're all human beings. We all have issues. But that you take a second out of your life to be here, it makes a difference for a mom like me who struggles, who tries to figure out how I'm going to work, how I'm going to do it all. So God has given you a very important job, and to know that you're here means so much to someone like me and other mothers who are in the building called Niswonger Children's Hospital. And I would like to end by saying, I hope you all walk away today with the gift of knowing God and His will to use you for your life. Your gifts to give back. We all need more humanity and compassion in our hearts to continue to either give money and or your name and time to an area that desperately needs it. They desperately need the building Niswonger Children's Hospital and all the doctors, nurses, and equipment in it. A building where there are mothers and fathers who are holding on to the hope that something will change in their child's health, and because of you being here today, it will. Thank you. May God be with you all today.